All right. Well, it is 2 o'clock, and I think we'll go ahead and kick things off here. Richard, or are we good to go ahead? Erica will continue to let people in as they join. Thank you. Gosh, it's just a thrill to see so many names quickly logging in here as we get going. We're very excited to be here today. We're very excited to have you here with us today. We are here with our first ever, many more to come, town hall meeting specifically for the Music and Entertainment Industry Studies Department, MEIS. We wanted to host this meeting, and the purpose of the meeting really is to come together as a MEIS community and make sure that we're all feeling supported, and connected during these uncertain times, and make sure that you're informed. As we get information, we want to make sure that we are relaying it to the students, faculty, and staff accordingly. The purpose of the meeting, again, will be mostly updates, information, and we will definitely be taking questions as we go along. I would like to start with just a couple Zoom guidelines. I know at this point, most of us are pretty familiar with how Zoom works because all of our meetings and many of our classes and a lot of our lives here are on Zoom these days. We would ask that everybody, just as they join, and I think it automatically mutes your audio as you join the meeting, so that's great. If not, please do mute your audio. You do have the option of video. You can either just have your name appear, or we'd love to see your face if you're willing to do that. So you can choose that option. Otherwise, we're asking for questions. If you could just put your each question in the chat box. We'll make some quick introductions here and get started. And then at the end of this meeting, we will address all of the questions in the order in which they were received. And we certainly hope we have 1 hour, so we'll try to stay on track here and get to everything. I know it's a lot of information. If for some reason we are not able to address your question today, we would encourage you and very much welcome you to reach out to us directly. We're happy to assist with any information that you need as we go along this process. Okay, so let's get started. I'll start with some just very quick introductions. I will say I won't have time to introduce everybody. I see a lot, which is very exciting. CAM, administrative staff, faculty here, a lot of students, I believe some parents, and incoming students. So what I'm going to do is just quickly introduce kind of the key players in this meeting today, this town hall. Who are pretty specific to the administrative staff in the department, in the MEIS department. Starting with myself, and I'll be hosting the meeting today. My name is Christy Chambers. I go by Cece, better known as Cece. I am your program manager, also an alum of the program, and I am here to assist with anything you'll need. So as mentioned, if at the end of this meeting we didn't address your questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me directly at christy.chambers@ucdenver.edu. We'll include it in the chat. Also on this meeting, very important, is Richard Strasser, who is the department chair. Wave in there, and Richard will be discussing a lot of information and issues as we go along. We also have Scott Burgess. There he is. I had to look for him there. Scott Burgess is our core manager, also a faculty member in the recording arts area. Erica Harrington, I see up at the top corner there. She is one of our amazing student employees. She's our student employee lead. And then I'm not sure, I don't know on yet.
Mark Rabideau's there, our new associate dean.
Yes, hi Mark. We have Dave Walter, who is recruitment and enrollment. I see a couple advisors, Dicken from the CAM advising team, Lori Befsky, another associate dean. So we do have a wonderful representation here of CAM and MEIS. And Dean Captain, if is not already here, will be joining us shortly, I believe. So if the person who maybe you direct your question towards is not one of the kind of main people who will be speaking today at the meeting, we will we'll go ahead and make sure that we direct your questions accordingly. So if it goes to somebody else, we'll help you in the chat bar, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna just immediately turn the meeting over to Richard Strasser, who is our department chair.
Welcome everyone, thank you for joining us. I have a presentation I like to share, if I can get this to share with everyone. There we go. And we can move forward. Today I want to be able to go through the current situation that the university is in, and the MEIS fall 2020 semester. So we're going to be basically talking about the course formats. What is the format that the institution and both MEIS are responding to? So many of you, if you've checked your emails or have been on the university website, would have seen these 4 different course formats. The institution has come up with 4 different systems of delivering courses, starting with the fully on campus, what we're used to, having your courses on campus with a specific time and a specific place. If there's any sort of other components, they'll be done through the usual Canvas platform. We move from that. I'm going to go over to the online component, which is a full online system. The university is designated online as being asynchronous, and our response to that within MEIS will be explained as we go. Then we move on to the remote system, which is using a synchronous model, which means you will have classes live with a faculty member at a specific time as per your schedule indicates. And finally, there is the hybrid model, which is a mixture of on-campus and online systems. I want to start, first of all, with remote classes. The term is synchronous. So if you look at your schedule, or you go into the registrar and you look at the catalog, et cetera, of times, you will see if a class is denoted as remote, there is a specific time for that class. So we'll use a hypothetical. I am teaching an Intro to Music Business class. It is scheduled, it's a remote class. It's scheduled to meet on Mondays and Wednesdays at 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays, I will be on Zoom and teaching that class. I'll be posting all of my assignments, all of my course material, and anything else via Canvas. In most cases, I'm communicating through the Canvas platform to my students in that class. As you can see, we have a series of classes that were designated as remote classes. This includes your music theory classes and your ear training courses, your music history courses. You will also find, if you're taking core classes, for the majority of those core classes, they will be also remote classes. If you're a music business student or are taking one of the music business classes that you're required to take, such as the Intro to Music Business, they will be delivered as a remote class. And finally, our recording arts classes, except for AP3, will also be delivered remotely. Again, that is a synchronous model where you will be online with your teacher at that time in the online system. Online classes are asynchronous. You will negotiate a time with your faculty. No time has been set aside for asynchronous. It's most of our asynchronous classes, as you can see, are our applied lessons. There is a reason that we've done this, a twofold reason. We'll get into those reasons later. One was a coding reason and a campus reason that we had to set this up in this fashion. In most cases, just as you normally do with your applied lessons, you will contact your teacher and set a time when you meet. You will meet via Zoom, and again, assignments, course materials, and anything else will be set up on Canvas for you to be able to do that. As you can see, there are some exceptions to our applied lessons. That includes piano, drums, percussion, and EDI. We have done that because we found that in spring, when we were fully online for the institution, many students didn't have a piano or a set of drums or percussion at home and found it difficult to essentially have lessons in that format. We are offering the opportunity for students to come on campus and have lessons using social distancing and the platforms that have been set by the university in doing so. I will mention at this stage, if you are a student and you're in one of these areas such as piano, drums, or percussion, and you feel uncomfortable with coming onto campus, please reach out to your teacher, please reach out to the MEIS office and inform us of that. We are trying to make everyone as comfortable and confident to come back to campus. And again, if you're in one of these categories, please contact us and, we'll be able to see if we can make accommodations for you. Hybrid courses. Now, hybrid courses are a mixture of on-campus and online courses. These classes are developed where, again, we felt it was important to have classes held on campus. We looked at the data from the spring semester. We looked at surveys. There was multiple surveys that were sent out both to the faculty and to students. And we saw that classes such as piano class, there was a resounding response from people asking us to have some form of on-campus class. Now, we are, and I'll show you in some next slides, we are restricted due to CDC guidelines, university guidelines on how rooms can be allocated and the number of people per room. So a hybrid class essentially is a class which follows the same pattern. Just like your remote or your on-campus classes, there is a specific time and a specific room that the class will take place on. However, to what we have done to accommodate these classrooms and be able to service as many people as possible, the classes will be split. So I'll use a hypothetical. Johnny Sterling, one of our great piano teachers, is teaching class piano 3. I believe he's teaching it on a Monday and a Wednesday. So what will happen is Johnny will divide his class into 2 groups. One group will meet on the Monday and the other group will meet on the Wednesday. Of course, he will work with the students to find which of those 2 days works best for them. On the days that you are assigned to be online, the class will be delivered via Zoom or some system will be streaming it to the students. And on the classes that you have to be on campus, you come to campus and vice versa. This will allow us to have the total number of students per the CDC guidelines in that room. Again, we ask that you work with the teacher, and the teachers should have sent out messages to you in the last couple of days informing you of what platform or what format your class is on. As you can see, we've applied this to class piano. AP3 will be held in 283. It's the largest of our rooms in the core. Unfortunately, the room only holds 8 people under COVID rulings. So AP3 will be working on a try system. You come once every 3 times to the classroom, so you get that in-class experience. We're doing this for performance practice and also for the singer-songwriter ensemble. Again, the faculty, reach out to the faculty and they'll be working with you as we get closer to the semester, dealing with what system there is. And finally, we have our on-campus courses. And I've mentioned previously, these are conducted entirely on the area campus. As with the remote class and the hybrids, they have an assigned time. Most of our music ensembles, except for the ones I've just mentioned, will be on campus. Please take note of the rooms. They're not in the traditional, some of the traditional rooms that you may have had ensembles previously. We are a tri-institutional campus. we negotiated with our colleagues both at Metro and CCD for spaces in the King Center that allowed us to have our ensembles with that 6-foot distancing. CC worked very hard on achieving those, and worked truly with our colleagues at Metro, who we thank greatly to assisting us in trying to get many of our classes on campus. Again, you must adhere to on-campus safety protocols. And I'm going to go into detail now with some of those safety protocols that we must follow. This is not only just for students, this is also for faculty and staff if you are coming onto the campus. I haven't mentioned on the slide here, but we will have, again, a Canvas shelf for the ensembles. Faculty will be posting materials, et cetera, on those various systems. So let's go on to on-campus safety. Erica, are there any questions in regards to our delivery systems in the chat room?
Yeah, so let's see here. So kind of along the same lines, wondering about the safety for ensembles is a big question that we have in the chat right now. It's been stated that it's going to be on campus except for the couple that we mentioned, but what are the safety precautions that are going to be taken for ensembles?
That's a good question. All of ours, I've just put up the slide right now. All of our safety protocols are dictated by the institution, and the institution's getting its information both from the Colorado Department of Health and also the CDC. So there are two things that we all have to follow in regards to any on-campus courses. First of all is the 6-foot rule. And that's going to determine a lot of our space usage. That's why we're trying to utilize the King Center as much as we possibly can. In some cases, many of you would know room 278 as one of our large classrooms. That affords us, if many of you have been in that classroom, that room, you know, it's a black box theater. It's a large space, but under the university and CDC guidelines, we can only have 12 people in that room at a time, given the 6-foot distances. And that's really mandating what we can do. So we're looking at all those rooms, those issues. Again, we ask everyone, if you are coming onto campus, we will indicate a lot of some of the rules associated with being on campus. We ask that you adhere to them. One of the issues is face masks. They have to be worn both inside and outside of classrooms and on the campus itself. You have to check in, you have to fulfill an online questionnaire. The guidelines are pretty strict. We ask everyone who is coming on campus if they could adhere to that. If you've forgotten a face mask, I believe that the institution has one-time use face masks. I'm not sure if they can supply all 17,000 students that are in UC Denver, let alone the 3 institutions. So those are things that we're looking at. Again, it's a matter of if someone is concerned, please contact your teacher, please contact us with your specific concerns, etc. And we're here to help you as much as possible, certainly moving forward into the fall.
And Richard, there are a couple follow-up questions on that. If there's some concerns about 6 feet not being enough for singing projections, as well as are people going to be wearing masks? And if they're not comfortable with it, should they do what you just said and kind of contact you and the department and their faculty?
Yeah. Singing brass instruments are a concern. We are looking into that. There are some guidelines that have come from various music sites, music education, national associations, and things like that. What we're doing is monitoring everything at the moment. I will be talking to the faculty about those issues, coming up with best practices. Again, we are trying to work with our students, work with our faculty in the best possible delivery systems that we can. please feel free to contact me, the department, and your faculty with any questions, and we'll try to come up with solutions the best we can, remembering that we have some restrictions due to things outside our purview. Cool. Any other questions? Let's move on. Just for a matter of time.
And really quickly, I'll just chime in really quick to just kind of keep us on track here. At the very end, we can open it up for general Q&A, and we can go back to the top of this question list. If it's stuff that we haven't covered already in the meeting, we'll go ahead and answer these specific questions. But let's save the Q&As until the end, and we'll go ahead and monitor that in the chat box here. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So I also wanted to, Richard, on the Safe Campus note, did you want me to talk a little bit about the Office 288 Office Suite protocols?
Well, let's just do some of just to go over some of the university rules and some of the rules. I think, as you can see on this slide, I speak about room capacity, and it sort of may answer some of the questions of, why am I remote? Why is my class on campus? Why are we doing this? As I've said, a lot of our decisions are driven by, as you can see, this institutional planning. It's a university-wide committee. I'm a member of one of the components of this committee. Scott will speak soon as well in regards to the recording core. He's on another. We've been well represented, but we have to work within these mandates. And one is the 6-foot distancing, and that's really affected our capacities. And I want to show you a graph from the university. This is a common room that we've often used. Some of you in music business would know this room. We've used it for some of our classes. I've taught an introduction to music business in here. I think we've had artist management in some other classes. Here is a class that normally would seat 60 students plus the instructor. Based upon CDC guidelines, and this, as you can see, the 6-foot distancing here, you can see that now a 60-room classroom has been reduced down to 9 students. So the institution has, in terms of space available, has really been reduced by the number of classes and the number of people that can be in a classroom. These decisions obviously have been debated and thought of, but I must say, underlining every decision that anyone has made at any level, whether it be, myself at the department level, or at the dean's level, or even at the chancellor or president's level, the safety and health of our faculty, student, and staff has been paramount. This is a pandemic. This is, as we can read in the newspapers daily, is a fluid situation. It is something that we are constantly monitoring, but every effort to continue providing, I think, an internationally recognized and high-level educational product has been taken into account, but always with the understanding that, health and safety is paramount. So this is just a typical example of what has happened to the classrooms. They have been reduced, and safety is a priority. And having said that, the university has set up really guidelines and very clear guidelines on protocols. There is a daily check-in. Right now, the check-in stations are in the North Classroom and Links Crossing. This is for the summer. There is minimal movement on the campus during the summer. This will certainly pick up in the fall. We are, again, a tri-institutional institution. UC Denver is on average around 17,000 students. and you add CCD and you add Metro, we've got a huge number of students, faculty and staff on a campus. So screening stations will be set up. I believe one will be near the Rara train stop. There will be multiple stations set up. Screening will consist of an online test that you take. It's a questionnaire. I went online and I had a look at the questions to see what is being questioned. And first is, have you had any recent symptoms associated with COVID-19? Have you been diagnosed within the past 30 days or had exposure within the past 30 days? If the answer to any of these is yes, the institution asks that you don't come to campus. If you answer yes to any of these things and and you have an on-campus class, as with your normal classes, please contact your faculty member, your teacher, and say, look, for these reasons, I can't come to campus. And again, that type of communication it will help you figure out how to get through the programs, how to get through the semester, et cetera, et cetera. There'll be a temperature check. If all of these things are passed, you will be issued a wristband. That wristband will allow you to be on the campus. That will allow you to come into a class. Faculty will ask to see that. Please, for whatever reason, if you're running late, please still fill out these things, these forms. We don't want our faculty policing everyone. Communication, if you could do those things, it helps the faculty, it keeps everyone safe, and we'll be able to get through these things. Access will be through your ID. The university is putting up signage on stairwells, on elevators, on all those things. More of that information is available on the university Return to Campus website. At the end, I post some of the hyperlinks. Erica will also post them. We'll post those sites that will keep you updated on what's happening at the university level. Here is a map just to give you an indication for any of you who are, say, freshmen and coming to the campus. As you can see, the North Campus has a station right now, and further south near some of the metro stations. This is the summer testing stations, but we are predicting that certainly this will pick up. We're predicting that here is the arts building on campus. There'll be stations posted very close to us. As you can see, most of our classes are going to be taking place either in the King Center or the arts building. They're the buildings that we've either have priority spacing or we've requested to have the courses on. So we're trying to keep, if you're on campus, the classes somewhat close, so you're not crossing, all the way over to the business building or the buildings in other parts of the campus. Other components of the on-campus safety are face coverings, as I've mentioned before. They must be worn. The university is requesting frequent hand washing, safe 6-foot spacing between everyone is also encouraged. And as I've mentioned previously, there is going to be both from college and also the core signage through all of these components. I think Chris Leonard, I think you've got your mic on. I can hear the background. So we're trying to make sure that happens.
If everybody on the meeting now, other than Richard, of course, talking, could just mute their audio, that would be great. Thank you.
We've been speaking about classes, and then that's our primary topic for today. We also understand that we have multiple facilities on campus that have been utilized. namely the recording core. It is an important part for our department, and it's an important for our recording students. I'm going to turn over to Scott Burgess, who will go into some of the greater details of the plans for usage. Again, I know that he has shared with me, and we've discussed, and he's worked diligently on allowing access to the core. We know that's important, but we're also following, again, he is following the safety protocols, you know, especially with usage, one person, in some cases, two people within that. But I'll let Scott now join in and go into some of the greater details of using the recording call. Scott.
Alrighty, howdy everybody. Yeah, we've been working pretty tirelessly all summer, and really this process started back in April, I would say, to determine how we were going to make this happen through the summer and fall. So the main objectives basically are to get the core open as much as possible and to do so safely, and then to make the other main objective is to make the hybrid and remote class experiences the best we possibly can. And the second one first, we're working out software licensing and, if necessary, some small equipment, making some small equipment available to students that require it. There's a lot to be worked out yet on a procedural basis, but that's our objective there. And then in the core, to have it open as much as possible. And then, as Richard mentioned, it's going to be limiting the number of people that can be in a room at a time. And there's a couple of adjustments for those of you that are returning students. Some things that you're used to will be a little bit different. For instance, there won't be vulturing, because having student drop-in sessions is just too hard to manage, but there'll be a way to reserve extra time for those of you that are ambitious and eager to put it in. It might be, I won't speculate. I'm working out the details, and hopefully within a couple of weeks we'll have those determined and approved, because pretty much everything we're saying to you here either has been or is about to be approved by at least 4 layers above us, just to make sure that the university is consistent with their plans and with the safety. We are going ahead with some updates to the rooms, and among other things, you'll be able to request your time online instead of having to do it by the phone. We're trying to maximize the amount of information that's available to you in the room and online, so that you don't have to ask for as much help, perhaps, and also so that if you do have a question, either the core monitors or myself can answer it remotely by hopping on the computer and going, hey, it's here and there and there, and then we don't have to have the face-to-face contact that we can't do now with social distancing. And I think it's going to make it a better learning experience for you too. You'll come out better equipped with the knowledge that you need in order to run these rooms by yourself. And that's kind of the short version. The long version is many pages. And yeah, I'm talking about the audio production rooms in this case. So this is the recording core, 285 in the King Center. And for those that are classes that involve this room, 146 or 285 in arts and 146 in the King Center, excuse me. So it's our 6 or 7 rooms and the adjacent studio spaces there. And one of the kind of funky positives of this whole thing is that with most of the classes being remote or hybrid, there'll actually be more studio time available because the classes won't be meeting in the rooms. So that all of that kind of works out there. So I guess we'll save any other questions for the Q&A session. That's the quick and dirty version there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Scott.
Yes.
Another facility that many students have utilized and come by and cover is Arts 288, the main music room. We're also putting a plan together for that space. I'm going to ask Cece to talk about some of the specifics with the usage of 288.
Yeah, hi. So MEIS, our main office suite, we are a busy, active office suite typically. So it is in the Arts Building, second floor, room 288 is where we're located. And we have put in place office protocols for safe return. I won't go over all of the details with you. Much of it does relate to, directly relate to the staff and faculty in the office suite. We will be sending this detailed information out to you within the next week, I believe. So stay tuned and do check your emails often. But I will go over kind of the main key points about what we will be expecting with our main office suite when we return. And it will look different, as Scott has mentioned, and as we all know, it will look different than what we're used to in the past. First of all, and most importantly, we will be adhering to all of the university protocols, like in regards to the daily health screening and check-in requirements. We will supply, these are all, you can find all of the resources on the CU Denver main webpage on the Safe Return, as well as the CAM Safe Return pages. We'll provide you with those links again in this meeting, but do make sure that you follow those protocols. There is the COVID training that everybody will need to complete in order to check in daily and do the health screen, and we will be requiring the wristbands in order to enter the office space. We will also be requiring masks for all students, faculty, and staff, and this will be a strict requirement. You can't come in the office without the mask. So make sure that you are bringing the masks. As Richard mentioned, we may have some one-use single masks, but I believe that we will be required to supply our own masks every day. So just note that masks will be required. There will be limited walk-in hours for those drop-by issues. So I know we, in the past, have had a lot of people stop by for, you name it, if you have an issue, that's where you come, is the 288 office. We are asking, please, at this time, most of your issues can be addressed via email. Feel free to contact us directly at the office phone numbers. We're answering and checking messages and responding daily. So we would encourage you to please reach out via email and phone if it is something that we can handle remotely. And then the limited office hours for walk-in, those are TBD. We will let you know via email communication what those hours will look like. We're still working on that. There will be no in-person faculty office hours. We are asking all faculties to conduct their office meetings and office hours remotely via Zoom. So if you do want to meet with a faculty member or teacher, please reach out to them via email and ask to set up a meeting over Zoom. We used to allow students to take tests in the office, and obviously during this time we cannot allow that. It will be a pretty strict 1 in and 1 out. We are installing a buzzer on the door to monitor the traffic flow in the main office. So no test taking, unfortunately. We'll have to do that either remotely or find other open social distance spaces to take the tests. And then the 1 person, 1 in and 1 out. And then obviously a 6-foot, very strict social distancing from the front desk. We are installing a plexiglass on the front desk for the safety of our student employees and staff members. And then we will be clearly marking the floor and the spaces with signage, again, with the rules so that we keep reminding you. And then we'll be removing some furniture from the main office suite, so it'll have a little bit different aesthetic look to it as well, to make sure that everybody knows where those 6-foot distances are. And those are kind of the big pieces, takeaway pieces that I would say for the main office suite. If you have any questions about the office protocols, please contact me. I've put my email in the chat.
Wonderful, thank you, Cece. I just want to go back to my slides. We've been mentioning, hopefully everyone can see this, we've been mentioning during this town hall resources. Erica has sent out some of these hyperlinks, the URLs. We will continue to send them out. These are, I think, really important resources that everyone should be looking at on a consistent basis. First is the university COVID-19 website. Provides a lot of information on where we stand as an institution. It's updated on a pretty regular basis. It can answer a lot of the questions, say outside of the department, housing, some of those other questions as well. The Safe to Return plan also is updated on a regular basis. It's a university plan. Our college has information. Many of you, and we're joined by, I think, I saw Dickon online, our advisors, information about advising, how to contact advising, etc., will be found on the CAM website. They have done, I am just putting a plug in for them, they've done an amazing job over the summer. They've been working with us, working with obviously all the students on trying to get everything going for fall. Truly a yeoman's effort there from our advisors, and please work with them if you have any questions. Finally, we have a newsletter. We send out a newsletter it will be more regular as we get closer to the start of the year, but importantly, check your university emails. Information is sent to you. You may be bombarded a lot by emails from the university, but if you see something from a faculty member from the department, or you see something from the department, please read it. It's our way of communicating directly with you and trying to be able to give you updates in a live manner of anything that may change, or things that may be required. Faculty, as I said, if they need to contact you about a class or things need to change, the university email is the best way to reach out to people. And as a community, we will get through the fall semester. I do want you to remember that, this is the fall semester. We are looking for beyond that. We are a community. We will get through this. I applaud my faculty and the students and the staff for our spring convert. We were informed, I remember it's taking us back to March 16, when it was informed that we were going completely online, the university. And I've got to say, the faculty, the students, everyone came together and were able to get through the spring semester and get through this. I know we'll get through this in the fall, and I think at this stage, let me end my presentation and maybe open it up to questions. I'll let Erica direct the questions, and we'll try to go one by the questions if we possibly can.
Okay, great. Thanks, Richard. We've had a lot of questions about practice rooms. Do we have any information that we want to share about both the more open piano practice rooms and then the specific rooms like the drum rooms and things like that?
Yeah. We are looking into all of this at the moment. I can say definitively the Wenger rooms don't comply at all to CDC. We're closing those down for the fall. It is too much of a risk for people to be in there. Having said that, that becomes an issue for our drum majors, kit, percussion, etc. We are looking at alternatives. We are also looking at our general practice rooms. Of you that know our general practice rooms, they're small. The HVAC in them is truly not the best. Again, we're concerned about health issues associated with that. The last thing is we want to have any space that you feel uncomfortable being in. We're investigating it. We're working with the university. A policy will definitely be in place as we get to the start of the semester vis-a-vis the regular practice room. So please be patient there. If you can do things from your home, it would be really advantageous. We are restricted in a number of practice rooms. For those who know our building, we are restricted in those regards by the number of practice rooms, and we share one suite with CCD. That's a negotiation we've had with them for many years. So we're dealing not only with the issues of our students, but now there's also CCD students. So this is I'll say a work in progress. More will come as it becomes clearer as time goes on.
Great, thank you. The next one, some folks are asking about if out-of-state students can go home at Thanksgiving and finish their hybrid classes remotely instead of having to come back, or is there already a plan in place for that?
I believe the university is looking into that. Again, we are driven by university rules. Our semester is 16 weeks. If a faculty member has a 16-week class, we need to adhere to that 16 weeks. So at the moment, there is no definitive answer on what happens to the university post-Thanksgiving. We've read in the newspaper, we've all seen in the Chronicle and other some institutions are not returning after Thanksgiving. I think the University of Colorado, with the 4 campuses and let alone UCD, hasn't made a determination on that. And again, we have to work within the guidelines of the university. So at the moment, I would say, it's a wait and see. More will come as we get closer to the start of the semester.
And would you say that kind of goes, we have a couple of follow-up questions about if numbers are continuing to rise, how are we going to determine where to go from there? Is that basically along the same lines?
Yeah, everything, and we've been all reading the newspapers. We've all been informed, and today it's fascinating. My kids go to Denver School of the Arts, and DPS just announced changes and possible changes to how students are going to school in Denver. This is a fluid situation we're dealing with. The fact that I said, please keep yourself informed, go to the websites, look for the emails that are coming out, these sorts of things. As things progress, we will have more information. If the institution makes a determination, and that determination may come from Colorado Health, it may come from the governor, it may come even from the mayor, we will adhere to those. But the communication will, and I can guarantee you that, happen very quickly from the university. They will react. For those of you who are on campus in the spring, we saw that. We saw a notification on March 16, and I remember it was March 16, that Monday, we were moved from a on-campus to a remote. Situations like this may happen, so please keep in line. I saw Scott raise his hand. Maybe he would like to join in.
Yeah, I just, as someone who's participated in a lot of the planning process over the last couple months, I just wanted to mention to everyone that pretty much every plan we've put together has a line in it. What are you going to do if we have to shut down again? Make sure that every step forward can be reversed without compromising instruction or safety. So we're thinking about that. We're thinking about that pretty hard because we realize, unfortunately, that that's a possibility. And I also want to jump in to kind of answer 2 of the things in there in general. First off, if you have a specific question about a specific class, including lessons on piano or drums or whatever, check with your instructors. We've got an incredibly creative bunch of people here, and I know a lot of them pretty well, and they'll figure something out. And I'll bet that it's going to be possible. I can't guarantee anything because I can't guarantee anything. And the other thing, someone was asking, would you check with Canvas or your UCD email? And the answer to that is yes. And you can set up Canvas so that pretty much anything that happens on there results in an email notification. Or if you find that to be too cluttersome, I think you can cut that down by part or in whole. But yes, check them both. As a staff member and a faculty member, yeah, I use them both all the time. So by all means, keep an eye on them both.
Thanks, Scott. Erica, anything else that you've seen?
Yeah, we have a few different questions about you mentioned earlier that there's a few different sources that we're following as far as health guidance for our ensembles, and how we'll kind of be updating that as we get closer to the semester. Is there anything you want to speak to about what resources we're using for that, or what information we're using to make those decisions?
Yeah. First and foremost, we have to we rely on our students' input, and that's important. So thank you to everyone that has made comments or suggestions, and that's much appreciated. You know, we can't accommodate every single person, but we try to do the best. The next is that we need to work with our faculty. I'm just waiting to see a couple of things vis-a-vis the university, to see what's going on. I've asked them about vocal, brass, those sorts of instruments and things like that do have aerosols. If there's any standard university protocol, I'm waiting for their response. There are some organizations out there. I know the Germans have put together protocols for their country vis-a-vis choirs and things like that. I have that data. But forgive me, my German translation is going to be pretty bad, but I think I got the gist of what they said. And there's also an association, a teachers association I'm a member of, has put out some guidelines. In the next a week or so, I'm going to reach out to our faculty in this area, and our program director, Paul Musso, and have a discussion with them on what's the best practices and how we can deliver these ensembles. I know, and I have full faith in them, that they are thinking about this and will deliver, again, a top-notch program, a course, and the students are in there foremost of their concerns, thinking about, if we have an ensemble, how do we approach that? So again, it's one of those, please wait, more information will be coming soon.
Great, thank you. That's really helpful, Richard. We do have a few concerns, and I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I don't know if it might be helpful to reiterate what you think the best course of action is for people who might be looking at, okay, we can't do these classes entirely remotely, but it would be very helpful, or we would prefer for these to be remote. What is the best path, best options to go through? Talk to faculty, talk to the department, both? What's your path for that?
So if it's a remote course or an online course, we're not talking about moving online. If it's a hybrid course, and this is the flexibility of hybrid courses, the hybrid course was created to allow us to have that on-campus experience. But when we're in the early stages, and I'm speaking of the university, I was on those committees, and when we're at the early stages, we soon found, using that CDC guidelines and that 6-foot distancing, that we were unable to fully utilize our classrooms. So we needed to come up with a model that allowed us to have that on-campus experience while providing it for as many people as possible. And I'll use 282 as the example, because that's going to be our temporary piano room. 195 is our normal piano room. Under the new rules, I can only have 4 students in there. If I add a faculty member in there, if a faculty member doesn't have a face mask, it's a 12-foot distance. If it has a face mask, it's a 6-foot distance. We're moving now from a 16-student room now to a 3-student room at best. We can't accommodate. That would mean we'd have to put on sections on Saturdays and Sundays for students to be able to do this. And I don't really want to impinge on people's weekends with classes and late nights and things like that. So we've moved it to 282. We can have 8 students in there. And that means working with the faculty member of splitting that class into 2 components. If you're in a hybrid class and you really feel you don't want to be on campus, you can talk to that faculty member and say, I would like to be online rather than having that on-campus experience. Now that means, if you're in piano, you should have a keyboard at home so you can practice. Again, we are looking at our reserves of some keyboards. If we can lend some keyboards out, we can't accommodate everyone on campus. We have 500 students in our program. But we're looking, if you don't and you're really desperate, you know, I know our faculty are coming up with some ideas. Johnny Sterling has been absolutely amazing. Pete Ellingson, another shout out for really looking at how do we deliver this class. But if it's a hybrid class and you really feel that I feel safer being online in that class, talk to your teacher. Talk to the teacher. It may allow you to stay home, be online, get your education. You miss out on that in and on-campus experience, but it may allow you to be able to do that. It's slightly different with ensembles, obviously. In our 2 ensembles, Paul Musso is working with performance practice. He's got a model already set up for that class that allows for this. We just converted the singer-songwriter ensemble with Owen. Owen's on somewhere on vacation. He goes to exotic places. I was amazed I could actually reach him. He may have some ideas on how he does that. It would be difficult to have an ensemble fully online, but again, work with the faculty, and I'm sure they will be able to assist you in that endeavor. Sorry, it was a long answer for a short question.
No, it was super helpful. Thank you. I think there's a lot of concern about, are we going to have options, or who do we talk to? And I mean, if it's helpful to add on to that as a student and a student staff, we have an exceptional team here. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I left the state and moved back so I could finish my degree here. There's not another program I've ever seen like this. The people who we have working here, our instructors and our faculty, they mean it when they say that they care. They mean it when they say they want to help. Reach out to these instructors if you're concerned for your safety, or you're unsure, or you're confused, or you just need some extra support or some extra answers. Like, please reach out. These are people who really do want to help, and they really will help and make whatever exceptions or accommodations we possibly can. They're really good people. So just from a student standpoint, I want to reiterate that they're good folks. So definitely please reach out, like Richard said. We have a couple more questions.
Erica, adding to that quickly, I'm getting some, I'm trying to address some of the questions as they come through the chat, but we're getting a lot of questions about, what if I haven't heard from my instructor yet? Should I reach out to them? And if I reach out to them and don't hear back, what do I do? Contact me, contact the department. I am happy to, we are happy to assist you in contacting the instructors, or just informing you on the class structures, which we're pretty well informed of at this point. So certainly if you're not hearing back, or if you send an email or something like that and you're starting to get concerned, just reach out to me. I'll respond by end of day.
And I've also seen we've been joined by Dave Walter, who is our Director of Enrollment and Management. We didn't mention him at the beginning. Dave is also on multiple committees working with the university. He's also a wonderful resource. We have a few minutes left. Dave, would you like to add anything? We haven't had an opportunity to reach out to you.
No, I mean, I think you've done a great job of covering. You know, we can only do what we can do right now, and as things change, we have to roll with it. And I think you all have a great plan in place. And you know, thinking about the incoming students that I work a lot with, first time, you know, starting this fall, boy, what a semester to start, right? It's tough. But as you've seen, you've got a great team here. We're going to do everything we can to help make your first semester positive, whether it's going to be all remote or it's going to be a little bit of both. So just please trust us. Please use the resources that are here. Reach out for help. If you have questions, reach out to us. We're here to help.
Fantastic. Okay. We have 1 minute. I'm going to turn it back to CC just to wrap it up. And from me, I want to thank everyone that joined. I want to thank all my colleagues that joined. I want to shout outs again to Dave. Thank you to Dickon for joining us. Again, I didn't give him a chance to speak, but he's one of our superstar advisors and someone that everyone will be able to reach out for. I'll turn it over to CC to wrap up.
Well, thank you so much, Richard. information. Again, we called this an initial town hall, we want to stay informed and connected, and definitely make sure that we're all feeling the support during this time. This is first of many. As we had mentioned, we are going to start ramping up these town halls more actively as we get close to the semester start. So again, we keep driving this home, but check those emails and we'll send out information about the upcoming town halls. We'll continue to address the questions and concerns. Friendly reminder, one more time, just make sure you're checking emails. I would encourage everybody to like our social media pages as well. Erica can include those in the link. She already did, I believe. We're very active on sharing information on multiple platforms. So social media, newsletter, and emails are going to be your top platforms to get information right now, but do contact us if you need anything else. I think we addressed all of the questions today. If not, apologies. It's a lot of information, I know, to squeeze into one little hour, but we'll certainly help you if you contact us after the meeting, okay? Stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week, and we will see you and certainly be in touch with you very soon. Thanks again for everybody who joined us today. We appreciate it. Have a good one.